Okay, this is Ms. Verhoff recording your additional conversions useful in the healthcare setting. And we're going to look at Chapter 9 in your Calculate with Confidence, Deborah Gary Morris. You should be around page 94 and looking at this. And when we finish, you should understand the concepts of converting from a Celsius to a Fahrenheit. You should understand the concepts of converting weight in pounds and kilograms, and there are two important factors to pull away from this short lecture. So open your books. Let's get going to page 94. In your book on page 94, in the middle of that page, you will see in dark print it says about Fahrenheit. It gives you the example of how to write the temperatures, and temperatures read followed by F indicate it is a Fahrenheit. A temperature read followed with a C indicates it is a Celsius, formerly called centigrade, which is in the metric system. Freezing point for water is 32 Celsius and 0 centigrade Celsius. The boiling point for water is 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius. So the Celsius temperature is metric. It's based on the tens numerals. You have this on the middle of page 94, so don't try to print PowerPoints, just highlight your book. Now on the next page, 45, you see the thermometers. There's a picture in your book, and it shows the freezing point of water on the centigrade, Celsius, and the freezing point of water on the Fahrenheit. At the top, you see the boiling point, and in the middle, you see the average human temperature of the body is 98.6 and 37 Celsius. Miss Bird works with you all in 102, and she will be helping you to understand there's not just one set normal temperature, but it actually varies from about 96.8 up to less than 100.4, but she'll give you those values specific to that course in 102. Moving on, let's go to page 96. And at the top of page 96 is your formula for conversions. These are different than they have been in the past. When you look at your book, you can see that it says to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, we multiply by 1.8 or 9/5 and add 32. By 1.8 or 9/5 and add 32. When you divide 5 into 9, you get 1.8. So that's the same as saying it times 9/5. So either way, if you don't do both, if you just remember the 1.8 from low to high, we multiply and add. From the lower scale, this is giving you the example so you can read through this to go from a centigrade to a Fahrenheit. We're going to take the centigrade 1.8 times the centigrade, which would be the 37.5, add the 32, and we come up with here 1.8 times the 37.5 and add the 32, and that's a 99.5. When we go, and in the middle of page 96, to the convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius, we subtract 32 and divide. So going from high to low, you're going to subtract first, then divide. When you go from low to high, you multiply, then add. When you go from high to low, which is what we're doing with the Fahrenheit, we go from the subtracting 32 from the high and then divide to get the Celsius. So these are worked for you. You can see that if you had a 68 degrees Fahrenheit, might be your temperature outside, then you would subtract 32 from 68. That number would then be divided by 9/5. So you would take the 36 that you got when you took 32 from 68. That would leave 6 here, and 6 minus 3 would be 36 divided by 9/5, and that gives you the 20 degrees. Now, conversions with metrics, we're not going to work with this a good bit, but you should just know that your conversion factor there, your 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters, that's given for you. Be comfortable with knowing there are 2.2 centimeters in an inch. So that was in an earlier chapter if you need to look back at that. And we will go over to military time. Over in military time, that is the way used to tell time in most hospital facilities to prevent giving medications at the wrong time. Military time was created by the military years ago so that if somebody said have your troops and be on this side of the mountain at 9 o'clock, one general might think that was 9 in the morning and the other general meant 9 at night, and then you would lose a battle because the times weren't synchronized. So they take the clock that you can see, and we'll look at that on page 101, but it uses a 24-hour clock. It helps prevent errors by eliminating repetition of the duplication of numbers. There are no colons like we have in AM or PM. Now this is in your narrative on 100. Midnight is 0000, or midnight can be 2400. 1 a.m. is just adding 1 to the 0000. So it can either be this is in the traditional way, this is military time. You just add 1 to the 3 zeros. When we look at the space of the clock, you can see that at 9 a.m. it is 0900. At 10 a.m. it is 1000. At 11 a.m. is 1100. Midnight is 0000. 1200 is noon. 1200 is noon. 2 a.m. is 0200. 5 a.m. is 0500. When you go to afternoon, 1 minute after 12, it is 1200:01. When you come to 1 o'clock, you simply add 1 to 1200 and you get 1300. You're adding 100 to 2 o'clock, and if you had the 0200 and you add to that, you get 1400 by adding 2 to the 1200. 200, you add the 200 to the 1200 and you get 1400. When we are at 3 p.m., we add the 0300 to the 1200 and we get 1500. So let's go back. At 1 a.m. it is 0100. When we get here, we've gotten up to 1200. So when you come to this side and it's in the evening, we add 1300. We add the 100 here to the 1200 here and we get 1300. So 6 p.m. we would be adding the 0600 to the 1200 and we would have 1800. 9 p.m. we would be adding the 0900 to the 1200 and we get 2100. To convert AM time, omit the colon. As you see here, you take the colon out, add a 0 to the beginning and make it a 4-digit number. 0845. It's 845. 0845. To convert a PM time, you omit the colon. So we're going to take this colon away and add 1200 to the time. Omit the colon. Now add 1200. That's what we were explaining with on the face of the clock. The computer time to traditional time is the 000 and 1200. You delete any 0 at the beginning here and insert AM. So if you were going from military time, or they're now calling it computer time, you delete the 0 and put a colon before your minutes. To convert times between 1200 and 2400, you subtract the 1200 and insert your colons. So if you had 1900, you would subtract 1200 and you would be 7:50 p.m.
That's your slide, so be familiar with these. Thank you.